In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. John says in John 14:8 that Jesus said that I am in God, I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. And also he says, whoever saw me saw the Father. In other words, if he said that, that means he is God, because whoever saw Jesus means he saw the Father, God. So he is God. Okay? That's what Christians also say to prove that Jesus is God. But let's go back to the script and read it from the beginning. In John 14:8, he says, Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Jesus said to him, have I been so long with you, and yet you have not came to know me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own initiative, but the Father abiding in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. Now, let's go back to the one who wrote John. The one who wrote John believed in a doctrine called al-ittihad wal-hulul. Al-ittihad means that everything is united with God. Everything has a piece of God. And when we die and we are resurrected, we are going back and we're going to be resurrected, and we're going to go back and become like in the same entity of God, in the same thing. Like we're going to be gods. In other words, we are a part of God, and we unite back to God. That's what John's believe. This doctrine is actually a very old doctrine, and it's not new. And the Romans and the old Greek, they believed in the same doctrine because they believed in many different gods, and that people can become semi-gods, and that God can reincarnate and take a shape of a human, and a human become God, and so on. However, the real doctrine, and the doctrine that it is actually in the Old Testament, and the correct doctrine of God, that creation does not become creator, and creator does not become creation. There is a contradiction and discrepancy in this doctrine and this idea, because there's no way that the creation become a creator. Okay? And so also in John, in the very same gospel, Jesus say to the disciples that I am in you and you are in me. So does that mean that the disciples, they become the same level as God, so they become God? Of course not. If you go back and read the whole John, okay, you will see that Jesus always say that I do not do my will, but I do the will of my Father. I don't do the work that I do is the work that my Father give me. Whatever I do is because God gave me the authority to do it. In John 17:3, he said that, oh my Father, you have given me this authority. So he always say that the one who sent me, the Father, is the one who gave me this authority. Now, this is really interesting, because if we go back and read Roman 8, we will find the same doctrine as John, because John, as I said, he lived 120 years after Jesus Christ, and the book of John was written 120 years after Jesus Christ. It was the last gospel that it was written, and it was influenced by the doctrine of the Greeks and the Romans. And we see that Paul had the same doctrine after he became what is called Christianity at that time. He said, therefore we have been buried with him through baptism into death, so that as Christ was raised from the death through the glory of the Father, so we too might walk in newness of life. For if we have become united with him. So he's saying that those believers who believed in Jesus, and we're going to be talking about the salvation, and they were saved, they will be united with God. So in other words, they're going to be gods. Does that that's what it means? If you go back to the other gospels, you don't find this doctrine. You'll see the correct doctrine where it says that Jesus was sent from God, and that Jesus is saying that he is doing the same work of God. And that's what I think actually John is saying. He does not really mean that Jesus is God, but what he's saying that he is a creation and he's a man, and Jesus say actually in John that I am a man and he is doing the same will of God. So whoever is doing the work of God, and he was chosen from God, okay, that doesn't mean that he becomes God, but he becomes an ambassador of God. He becomes an ambassador of God. That means he's doing the work that God told him to do, to give it. And at that time, Jesus Christ was the prophet, and he was the one who was interceding between the people and God, and between God and the people, because no one can see God. And this is what John 1:12 say. He say that no one have seen God. No one can see God. The only people who has the message can give it to those people. They can see the ambassador of God, the one who was sent from God to do the good works and to give the message, but they are not gods. And that's what actually Jesus say. He never said I am God. He never. He always say that I am sent from God, that I don't do my will, but the will of the one who sent me, the will of my Father, and so on. Thank you for listening, and we'll continue next time.